Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Call of Duty seems to be doubling down on a rather unfortunate stance they've taken over the course of the past couple of months. Now, Call of Duty's been under fire for a lot as of late. As I'm sure you guys have seen, unfortunately, a lot of the news, a lot of the things we're talking about pertaining to Call of Duty aren't in the best light. It's a lot of negative things sort of stacking on top of each other as of late, just because of the state of Black Ops 6 across the board, pretty much excluding zombies, which just seems to be rolling on its own and everyone's having a good time there. But a big thing as of late is Call of Duty's use of AI in game, and we've talked about this a little bit in some previous videos because what they're doing with AI doesn't seem to be the most progressive. It's hurting actual people, it seems like, and now both Microsoft and Activision have responded to this, and like I said, they're essentially doubling down on a stance that it seems like a lot of players are not a fan of and a lot of people in the community are not a fan of. So if you're unfamiliar, we'll catch you up to speed here real quick. AI has been called out in COD for a couple of reasons. One, for art. It seems like a lot of stuff they're doing in game, particularly with the bundles that they're spamming almost every single day in the store that just never seems to break. A lot of the art and various things in those bundles seems to have a lot of traces of AI. Some may be more obvious than not. I know there's a lot of like programs and sites online where you can like search up and input an image and say, hey, is this artificially generated? Is there signs of AI here? And it'll give you like a, hey, 90% chance this is AI generated or stuff like that. And a lot of people have tested that stuff with Call of Duty and it comes out to show, yes, AI generated, and in general, not for AI art. That's replacing actual graphic artists in general, 3D artists, real people with a machine to produce art. I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. Takes away creativity, takes away, responsibility and jobs from actual people there. Not a fan of that personally. AI as a tool elsewhere has its purposes for sure. In this case, though, it's backfired a lot. Like we talked about this before, this weird image that some people think is AI, some people don't think is AI. Regardless, there were traces of it and it sparked a whole conversation. There were other things like this image here for the Gobblegum Mania event that we had not too long ago that shows this hand holding some Gobblegums and then even this mouth biting one as well. And you can see, like, if you actually just look at it, something just seems off with this. The shadows on everything with like the gobblegum and the mouth look kind of weird. This image here, you can count something weird's going on with the hand here. Presumably there's like a thumb over here. So that's finger 1. There's finger 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 and 7 on the side. That's just not a hand. That's not how that works. I've double checked. And then again, the gobblegums just seem like really weird in here. They're not like correctly placed in the image. The shadows are all weird. So like either it's just like poor Photoshop going on here or something different with AI, which again, as mentioned there's been a lot of discussion of and people aren't really thrilled with that, understandably so. But this whole conversation with AI generated art in Call of Duty has caused a lot of players to go through and look at various different things they've put into the game, loading screens and other things like that. Players sort of analyzing this more, and like I said, going to these sites and testing to see if it comes up as like flagged for AI generated stuff. So it's been a big conversation and people have really been harping on this, saying, hey, why are you using AI for all this stuff? You're not disclosing that it's all fully there. And obviously it's taken away from potential artists at the studios. On top of that, however, stuff also came out when Season 1 Reloaded dropped, and they actually updated some stuff for zombies that shows that they've actually recast some of the zombies characters, because there's this whole thing going on with some of the cast contracts where they want AI protections and Activision isn't agreeing to that, which is just a really bad look for Activision. There has been a bunch of strikes for this kind of stuff in the industry a lot as of late, and so they recast some of the characters from zombies. The voices are different. They updated those, and that was its whole own thing as well. As mentioned, we've covered this before, and now we actually have some official responses from Call of Duty and from Microsoft in regards to AI in their games. Some more broad responses, but then also a direct mention of what's going on in terms of replacing people and recasting positions because of the use of AI and the contract situation there. So Charlie Intel reports on this over on Twitter, saying the Microsoft CEO says AI innovation will help in game development for Xbox. The exact quote, I think long term as a company, we can bring the best of AI innovation, cloud innovation, console innovation, PC innovation to build the best games that can be enjoyed by gamers everywhere. This just seems like it is so out of touch in a situation where players are sitting here saying, are you guys using AI for your art, not disclosing proposing that you're doing that? Are you replacing people to do this instead and put out these images that clearly are not checked by people before they're put into bundles and then sold? Are you recasting people because of this? Like, obviously, Microsoft CEO is talking more broadly as a company, not directly for Call of Duty, but when it does impact Call of Duty, clearly they're looking at this and saying it's going to be better for their games, but the way it's being utilized so far has backfired tremendously in terms of public perception and reception of what has been called out for the use of AI thus far. You also have situations like Ricochet, which they say uses AI to detect things and monitor things and actually machine learn based on gameplay of cheaters versus legitimate players. And yet Ricochet speaks for itself. It's not a good anti-cheat. So it seems like all their uses of it so far are kind of doing the exact opposite of this. Meanwhile, no real benefits are being seen as consumers here, as players. It's not like the bundles are cheaper because they're making them with AI art, or the game is any more stable because they're using AI to help out with things. Now, that was Microsoft's response to the situation, or with a general broad situation, I should say. Activision did directly respond to the more specific situation of recasting characters in zombies so that they can use their voice, so they can adapt it with AI and use it for other things. This one is kind of wild to me. So game developer ends up posting this interview and this little Q&A that they had with Activision, and then also with some of the cast of zombies. So Call of Duty Black Ops 6 developer and publisher Activision has acknowledged that it recast several characters in the zombie mode in wake of the ongoing strikes with the Actors Guild and everything. So there's been a lot of questions about this, particularly characters William Peck and Samantha Maxis, who are voiced by Zeke Alton and then Julie Nathanson, appear to be played by new actors, and that kind of surprised everybody. Alton does not appear in the Black Ops 6 credits. Nathanson is listed, but she and the other named performers are not credited by their individual characters, so they're using their voices but then potentially redoing things with AI and recasting it elsewhere, making it difficult to pin down where their voices appear in the game. It's unclear if the voices behind characters from prior Zombies campaigns have also been recast. However, like I said, we actually got direct quotes from one, Alton, who plays Peck, and then also Activision. So Alton says this, and this is really disappointing to hear, in my opinion. To the best of my knowledge, that performance is not mine, Alton said when the game developer asked if he reprised the role of Peck in Black Ops 6. It's their character, and they can do what they want with what they please with it. My only concern is for my brand as a performer. Fans of the game have reached out to me because the lack of crediting implies that it may still be me, which unfairly represents my abilities as a performer. That is a not good look for Activision whatsoever. I have no issue with Activision's actions with a character and an IP that they own. I absolutely adore the creative team and the opportunity I've had to collaborate with them in the past. I sincerely hope to collaborate in the future once all performers are protected against generative AI abuse, which is the main issue here that's concerning both people working on the game, but then also us as consumers. Hence, like the sort of, outspoken rage for using AI without disclosing it, for recasting people or in their art, then still selling that stuff through bundles without really saying anything. And then here's what Activision responds. In response to a request for comment, an Activision spokesperson provided this: "We respect the personal choice of these performers. Out of respect for all parties, we won't add new commentary about the ongoing negotiations with the Actors Guild. We look forward to a mutually beneficial outcome as soon as possible." The most stereotypical PR response: we're not going to say something, but we have to say something, so we're going to say this instead. It's just not a great look across the board. Oh, we want to have a mutually beneficial outcome. We want to come to an agreement. If you come to our agreement, which is you let us use, AI to enhance the voice or reuse it and digitally repurpose it elsewhere, right? Which is not what the actors want. That's what they're striking against. So it is essentially Call of Duty here. And then now Microsoft also from the top down saying, hey, we believe in the power of AI in our games and using it as a tool. And then in some cases, maybe going beyond that, which is really unfortunate, all things considered. So quite an interesting situation. Didn't really expect to have direct comments and replies from both people affected on each side, right? Actual actors in Black Ops 6 that have been recast or their voices have been repurposed, which is crazy. Then also Activision in their very broad and very much so ambiguous response too, but doubling down on the AI use nonetheless. And who knows where it goes from here. Could get worse, could get better. We'll have to wait and see. As always, as anything gets updated, as new things arise with this situation in the future, I'll be keeping you guys in the know for all things going on in COD, big or small. So if you want to stay up to date, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed this video, a like rating on your way out would be really appreciated as well. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.